This is Pod Populi, podcast for the people.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Slimming Surgeon podcast. I am your host, Dr. Kandice Kichler, and I am back with Olivia Figueroa. Hi, Olivia.
Hey, Dr. Kandace. So happy to be back.
Oh my God, I can't believe you called me Dr. Kandice. It's like, you don't have to do
I
that.
have to remind myself. Well, I say Candace sometimes, and I'm like, okay, she didn't, go to a bajillion years of medical school for nothing. But
I know, but it's
Dr. Candy to me, Dr. Candy.
Dr. Candy. I have a lot of people call me Dr. KK,
Yeah.
whatever floats your boat. But I don't know, sometimes I'm like not in the doctor mode. And I'm
Well,
like,
and I remember back in the day before you were who you are now. So I think that sometimes I feel like we're still, dancing at the club together.
literally, I mean, I don't know, isn't it weird? Like our
It
brain,
is, but can we have a club night? I'm actually I'm in need of one. Maybe we should do that. Come up to New
we
York.
really should, but it's tiring. We got to go, like, maybe we
I
should
know.
do that hack and like sleep and then wake up and go to space at 6 in the morning.
I mean, say less. I'll book my flight right now.
The one, I think I've been there once and it was with you, obviously. Okay.
I
We,
do love a space
we,
night, not gonna
we
lie.
do, we do have a purpose for this episode.
Yes.
For those of you listening and watching, Olivia and I both live very social media, like in the focus, open lives. And I think, a lot of people look at us from afar and think about the things that we've done, question what we've done, applaud what we've done. And I think for me personally, the times that I have felt the best in my life have been when I have been authentic and like my true self and followed my intuition, my gut, not what I thought other people told me I should do or what the typical path tells you the route to go. So we're kind of labeling this episode authenticity, and we want to break down some of our life tips, if you will.
Amazing.
Okay, Olivia, tell me like one or two life tips. What's on your list?
I think that being authentic is something that also comes with age. And I think that it also, you have to do a lot of soul searching and sometimes like a lot of trial and error. Um, and there are times where you're just like, I mean, let's be real, life is hard. And you're like, what is my path? Or what is my next step? Or what should I do? And I know for me, I've had so many times in my life where I was feeling a little unsure or just lost, or um, it's not linear, right? Like we don't have, not every day is like amazing and we feel inspired and motivated. Like we all have days where we're not our absolute best or we have self-doubt. And I think like taking that leap of faith when it's presented to you is huge. I mean, for me, moving to New York, I was over 30 when I moved to New York, which I remember feeling a little scared about that because I'm like, I'm over 30. People usually do this when they're like in their early 20s. I've lived my entire life in Florida, South Florida, where I'm from, and I have my whole career here and everything. And I had already turned 30. I had gone through a really, really hard breakup, a relationship that I ended. I was playing house with someone who didn't freaking deserve it, basically, and it was a learning experience. And in hindsight, I'm so happy that that happened because I am here. I'm who I am today. But I kind of saw my life going in one way and then things didn't work out the way that I thought they were going to. And then I remember thinking, okay, so I'm 31, I am not married with kids. what now? And it was kind of like that pivotal moment in my life where I was like, okay, I could either freak out and not take a leap of faith, or say, you know what? Like, I experienced what I experienced in Florida. Like, I know what it feels like to love someone, to have a relationship, to care for something, or someone other than myself. Great. But like, what's the next step? And sometimes you have to like put you first. You have to find what makes you the happiest. You have to do what's like actually best for you. And I will never forget, there were people, because this was like, 2021, 2022, where like COVID was still going on, especially here. And people were like, you are so crazy for moving to New York. Like, this is a huge mistake. Like, would look me in my face and say, this is a mistake. Like, don't do this. Like, everyone's moving to Florida from New York. That place has gone to shit, whatever. And I'm like, no, like I want to move there. Like I want to change. I want something better. Like I wanted to grow my career. Like it was a career move. I wanted to find more opportunities for my brand, and I want to like be bigger than I was, and just like expand everything and like grow my network. And people were like, don't do it. So had I listened to them, I would have never moved here. And it was very hard. And I did it on my own. And I had to fully like take this leap of faith. Like I didn't have a safety net where someone was going to pay my rent if I failed. Like if I failed, like that was on me, fully 100% on my shoulders. And being an entrepreneur moving to New York City is kind of crazy. There's a lot of uncertainty. And it was definitely scary, and it was the best decision I could have ever made. And I had to like show up for myself every single day. And I had days where I would feel like I fell and failed, and like was really hard on myself. And it was just, the city will beat you down, but like you just have to keep going. And if you have that internal voice that's telling you like, you can do this, keep going, you trust your intuition, trust your gut. And even if you have people who are telling you not to do something, like quiet the noise and go within, because I think that like what we're actually supposed to do is always within us, and it's just a matter of like going in and like listening to that voice.
I totally agree and can relate on so many levels. I mean, if you know me, like I'm a completely different surgeon than I was a few years ago. Like I was doing totally
100%.
different things. Like I changed my life completely. And that was, again, like taking the leap, trusting my intuition. I'm also a person that, like, I'm analytical as well. So it's like I weigh out, I'll do lists, like, okay, what's the pros? What's the cons? Like, what about this? What about that? And while I don't always go by what the tallies show, like which one's going to be better in the long run, I always go back to, am I going to regret it if I don't do this? Like, am I going to
Yes.
regret not trying? And
100%.
I just don't want to I don't want to have regrets. Like, I don't want to look back in 20 years and be like, I could have done that, but I didn't. Like, I'm never going to be that person. You meet these people and they're like, oh yeah, I could have been a surgeon, but I decided to do this. I'm like, okay, you're all talk, and maybe they have a legitimate reason why they didn't achieve what they wanted to achieve, but maybe they also just didn't take the risk. Maybe they didn't like take the leap, move towards the goal that they thought they wanted because they were scared.
Right. And I think that's a really important thing to ask yourself when you're faced with a decision to make that's like life altering. I think a good thing to do is think, okay, would my 80-year-old self be disappointed that I didn't take this opportunity?
Yes.
Like, same way as I like the same approach with fitness in your body, right? And like wanting to look and feel your absolute best. I always tell my clients, like, one day you're going to look back at photos of yourself and be like, damn, I was hot. And I'm so happy
Yes.
that I like crushed it, and that I was confident, and that I was, look at me in a bikini and I felt so great about my body. Cause like one day you're going to look different. And also, obviously, what's meant to be will be. But I always think, okay, will my 80-year-old self be so proud of me for taking this leap? Or will I live with regret, wondering what would have happened had I done XYZ, or like wishing I would have taken that chance?
Yeah, I know. And I feel like you have to really listen to who you are, you know, with social media, with outside influences, with like your atmosphere, where you grow up, like who your friends are, even who you marry, you know, things like that. You become a person that fits into a mold. And if you're not being who you really are, saying how you really feel, acting the way you really want to act, you're not going to make the decisions that are going to benefit you. Like they may benefit somebody else and you may still be fine, but I feel like the most joy and happiness that I've had and the most fulfillment that I've had to date, which I'm sure there's way more coming ahead because I love life, but the most like times where I felt really like in my flow has been when I've been myself. Like I haven't, you know, changed the way I talk or lessened myself or dimmed my light to allow others to shine. Like, no, I'm one of the people that's meant to shine. I'm going to shine, like, period. I don't care how
Right.
you feel about it. I've put that behind me.
And just like you said, like surrounding yourself with people and you become who you hang out with and all that. And I also think that like when you do things that you really love and that you tap into how you feel when you do certain things or when you're around certain people, and when you feel like joyful and inspired, I find that like good things will kind of happen the way that they're supposed to happen when you're doing things that you love. Like, I mean, for me, I would love to find a partner, right? Like I'm single, would love to meet someone amazing. And I always remind myself, I'm like, okay, then like you have to just do what you love to do. And for me, that's like I love working out. I love grocery shopping. Like every health and wellness is something that brings me so much joy. And I'm it's going to put me in line with the person I'm meant to be with, or even like girlfriends. Like I meet friends out when I'm at events that are like about health and wellness. Now, that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that everyone I hang out with has to be so rigid and so like regimented like I am and like crazy about their health and wellness. Like, no. But at the same time, like, there has to be a common interest. And when you're around people who have the same interests as you and who um love like joining a run club or whatever, being outside or whatever it is that may be, like I just think that if you do things you love, you're going to automatically meet people who are aligned with you. And I just think it's just going to open up better doors when you stick to that authenticity and when you live your life as authentic as possible.
When in the times that I've left certain jobs, I mean, you know, I've left several jobs. Every time, as soon as I do, like 10 opportunities open up for me.
Yep.
And that to me is a sign that I made the right decision. And it's not always going to be like that. You know, like we make decisions, we make changes, and sometimes it's rocky when you first get started, it
Oh,
first
for
happens.
sure.
But if you look at the overall picture, it's like, okay, I took this huge risk to, you know, change my salary. I didn't know where my money was going to come from. I didn't know, like, you know, if patients were going to follow me, like all the different things that can go through my mind. Um, and it's like, you fast forward a month later, everything's better. People are following me. You know, like everything is good. You just have to move in the alignment of where you feel called and where you feel is right. And if you're surrounded by people who are pulling you down, who are, you know, constantly negative, you've had this experience recently. Like, if you've got a friend who's telling you horrible things about you and not lifting you up, encouraging you, supporting you, or helping you to find the best version of yourself, why are they your friend? Are they your friend? I'm not sure. You know, like you have to question like what you're doing job wise, friend wise, relationship wise. I feel like constantly reevaluating is so important.
It's so true. Always like coming back. I always say check in with yourself. And it's sometimes easier said than done. And I will say this because look, there are days and over the last 3 years and what I do and living in New York City and working in New York City is hard, right? This is a very fast paced city. It's competitive. It's like sink or swim. It's a grind every single day. And like there are days where I feel great and I'm pumped and I'm motivated, but I have also days where I'm like, damn, I'm tired. Like I've been working really hard all week. Like I want to be the best version of myself and I want to get great sleep and also work a million hours and also have a social life and also, go out. And that means going out is like staying out past my bedtime and all these things. So like I'm trying to juggle my own life. And yeah, I have bad days, as we all do. We're human. But at the same time, like the times where I'm okay, and I'm a big journal person. Like sometimes if I'm having a bad day, I write down, I'm like, what brings me joy? And I will literally list things that it could be the stupidest thing ever, but like something that I maybe did that week that like actually made me feel so joyful and good, whether that's like the flower bouquet that I'm looking at right now as we're on this call. Like these flowers make me so happy. And we've
Yeah.
been in day 5 of like rain and gloom and doom here in New York, and it's like a little depressing. But
Yeah.
you have to like find the joy in things, and like that's always what brings me back to my authenticity is like what makes me feel good, or like who makes me feel good. Who can I call if I'm having a bad day and like this person's going to uplift me, and or like what can I do for myself after a hard week that's going to make me feel like empowered and make me feel like I'm living my true self, that I'm doing things for me, not because like I feel like I need to do this for social media or for, what this guy is going to think that I look good doing. It's like, I
Right.
think that if you live like that to where you do what makes you feel good, better things will come, better doors will open for you.
100%. Um, Another thing that I think we are living and learning through trial and error is not sticking around too long with things or people who aren't good for you. You
Right.
know, I personally get guilt when I want to like make a change that's for me because I feel like, but this person really was depending on me or they really expected me to like do this. But then I'm like, they wanted me to do that for them, so how is that going to help me? You really do have to come back to yourself. And is this situation, this relationship, this job, this whatever, um, is it stale? Is it time to move on? Is it time to level up? That's something that I need to get better about
Yeah. I
reevaluating.
mean, well, and then you look at your past, or I do anyway. Like I've had situations in my life that I've stayed around for too long and they weren't serving me, or like friendships that I kept around, or a relationship that I let kind of control my emotions for longer than I should have. Even, after it ended, there was a time where a relationship was affecting me for a long time. Um, and I had a point where I was like, wow, I stayed in that situation, or I was friends with this person for way too long. And then you start to like get down on yourself a little bit, but instead of like kind of, I don't know, ruminating on it, it's
Hmm.
best to just be like, okay, it is what it is. It's in the past. Move on and learn from it. So anytime I catch myself like kind of, like I said, ruminating, I just try to remind myself, okay, just do better next time. And you have to live and you learn. Like you have to just learn from your mistakes. But again, life is short and
Yeah.
you don't want to spend too much time doing something that's not serving you, because we're not here for very long. And you
No.
don't want to look back one day and be like, wow, I never learned from that mistake. And I did it again in my 30s and in my 40s. So
Yeah.
my goal is to
Onward and
take
upward.
the onward, upward, and take the hint. And like when your gut's telling you something's not right for you, I don't know about you, but like
Oh my
I'll
God,
get like
tells me to ignore
headaches.
it, but it keeps coming.
Yeah. And I think that that's the best thing. And like learning to be intuitive and to like trust your gut is like the biggest gift in life, in my opinion.
Totally. Totally. Um, okay. We don't have much time on this episode because I have to go see patients, unfortunately. Fortunately, unfortunately.
Should we have one more question, or do you want to read one,
Yes,
or do
I
I?
love the questions. You had like a good question on this, for this kind of category, I feel like.
I don't know that it falls into this category, but it might. I have a lot of like the single girls in New York following me, and one of them wrote, how to how to date if you feel like weird that you're eating clean, eating healthy, or like wanting to not drink as much, but like you don't want to seem you're the weird girl who's like sober or not drinking all the time. And I'm probably butchering that because you know how you only have a certain amount of words in the
Yeah.
box. But anyway, I think that's what she means. Like not being the weird girl who wants to like pick a healthier restaurant to go on a date.
I mean, I think the better or the sooner you are your real self in front of someone, the better. Like, if you
Yeah,
are focused on eating clean and like only drinking minimal or not at all or whatever your balance is, they need to know that. Like, don't be a different person just to like get on a second date or go on a third
totally.
date. Like, if you're a clean eater, you're a clean eater. They're going to figure it out one way or another. You might as well put it up front because if it's not cool with them, they're probably not compatible for you anyways.
Exactly. And chances are, like, a guy is going to think that's very, like, admirable that you aren't afraid to be like, it's Tuesday and I've got some plans this week and I'm going to be drinking and I kind of want to balance out my week and I
Yeah.
really am trying not to drink so much.
Yeah.
And I think that a guy would really appreciate the fact that you're forward and honest. And if he doesn't, he's probably not the guy for you anyway. Let's be real.
100%. So I recently started following this chick, Becca Bloom, on TikTok. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Okay, I don't, she's probably like 15 years younger than me, but you know me, I'm a young soul. And so I'm like, I feel like she's my same age. Anyways, she's this really pretty girl in California. Her parents were in tech. She's in tech. She's like, I found out because someone posted that she's like rich talk. So she's like extremely wealthy. She posts all her bags, her jewelry, the stuff. Well, now she gives advice, like life advice. And one of her TikToks I just saw was about dating. And she said when she goes on a first date, now she's
Oh my
engaged.
God, wait, you sent me her TikTok this
I
morning.
probably sent you this morning. So she said when she goes
Yes.
first date, she's like upfront, like, I want to get married, I want to have children, I want to be successful, and like lays it all out there. And she's like, the guys who like it, and the guys who can't level up respect me anyways because I'm forward and I tell them what I want and they know if they can't handle it, they leave. Like,
I love that
it's a great
energy.
idea. I mean, if we all did that, we'd probably all be like grandmas by now.
I love that energy. And look, I'm not one to give relationship and dating advice because like I don't have all the answers either. Um, you know, just I'm just out here in the dating scene too. But I will say, like, in terms of I guess it's the same thing, whether you're talking about drinking and eating clean or like what your aspirations are and what you're looking for in a man and like what you want in your 5 year timeline. I think that at the end of the day, like you have to be who you are and you have to be yourself. And even if it's the first date, like now I'm not saying I'm going to go on a first date and be like, okay, I want to be engaged in 3 months because I
Right.
think that's crazy. Cause let's like let's have a drink and see what happens first.
Yeah, right.
But I definitely am all for my healthy girlies suggesting a workout class for the first like couple dates
Oh, she was
instead
like,
of
I
dinner.
mean, I've seen way too many of her TikToks at this point. Like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know, watching Becca Bloom. But she also said, like, start with coffee dates because she's like, if you're not vibing, why are you going to spend 3 or 4 hours with somebody you don't like? You know, like it's a
Oh,
waste of time.
I definitely feel that. And I've definitely gone on coffee dates and I think that's so, so great. I think it really depends on the guy, the person and whatever, and like how you met him too.
Yes.
And I'm not a dating app girl. I'm not on any app. So it's like my opinion might be a little bit different because I'm very much like an IRL. Like I want to meet a guy in the wild.
Yeah.
But I think that like it's totally cool to be like, let's meet for a workout class or
Yeah.
I mean, help bring the guy to my workout class. I love to see it.
Yeah.
Or say you really like the guy and maybe you've met him a couple times and you do want to go to dinner. And like, I'm not sober and I definitely enjoy alcohol. And I like to drink once in a while. But if you don't want to drink on this specific night and this guy's asking you out, it's okay to be like, I'm so pumped to go out with you and to order a sparkling water. Like,
Yeah.
don't feel weird. I
Yeah.
think that at the end of the day, you have to do you. Do you,
100%.
period. I don't care if you're 25, if you're 30, if you're 35, like, you have to do what's right for you and what feels good for you.
This is the Authenticity podcast. You got to be your authentic self. And if your authentic
And
self,
if you want to get drunk on the first date, please get
do
drunk
that
on the first
too.
date. Do that too. All right. You heard it here first. I'm never going to tell you not to do that either, but do what you want to do.
100%. I love it. I know. Okay. We need to wrap it up.
All right.
This is just too much good advice in one podcast anyways. I'm sure everyone was taking notes. Yeah.
Subscribe to my exclusive if you
Yes.
want to learn about how to go out in New York and to date, to navigate being social, but also staying on your fitness goals, because I got you and I can help you out.
Yes. Follow Olivia, subscribe. I love your
At
TikTok
Olivia
too.
Figueroa.
Your TikTok's more raw, like with your dating.
I don't have much of a following over there, but I definitely want to. I need to post more. My friends tell me I need to post more of like, my social life on there, which
Yeah.
maybe I will. I don't know. I'll consider, but
TBD. TBD. Well, thanks for hopping on again. Thanks everyone who listened this far. Make sure if you are listening to this episode and you did not listen to our last episode where we talked
go
about
back.
social media, all the things, scroll on back and listen to that episode or watch that episode as well. These are on YouTube as well. If you're listening and you want to see us in person, what we look like, unfiltered, we're right here for you. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Another amazing episode of the Slimming Surgeon podcast. If you're not subscribed, please do and leave me a 5-star review. Bye. Thanks, Olivia.
Bye. Thanks, Dr. Kandace.